Hi everyone, and welcome to this video where I'm going to show you how to drive on a motorway. We're going to be taking a look at lots of different elements of motorway driving, such as how to join and exit the motorway using slip roads, what to do if you break down on a motorway, variable speed limits, and we're also going to take a look at some more slightly advanced features of this car, such as cruise control. And I'll show you how you can drive using different systems such as that to make your driving safer and easier. So I'm going to get driving now. We're going to be joining the motorway from South Birmingham, and I'm going to be driving for about half an hour up to Tamworth, and then we're going to do a U-turn and come back down the other side of the motorway. Anyway, so let's get going and let's get the video started. So just going to wait for this car behind to pass and then we'll get moving. Now this is important, this video, because when you do your driving test here in the UK, you don't actually do any motorway driving at all. If you don't know, if you're watching these videos from abroad, you're not even allowed on the motorway in this country until you pass your driving test, and a lot of people say that's quite stupid. The rules are going to be changing soon, or could be changing soon. We're trying to make it so you can actually go on the motorway before you pass your test. It may even become part of the driving test, but that's for another video. That's what the current changes are proposed to be for the new driving test. So I'm just going to join this road here. Now this is a slip road, but I'm not going to join just yet. I'm going to actually go down the road further ahead and join the road there, because this is what it's going to be like to join the motorway in a moment. So the speed on this slip road, I'm going to get up to about 60ish. I can't go too fast because there's a few cars around ahead, although they've gone now. So imagine I've just come out the side road on the right there, and I'm going to go and join this fast road ahead. So I'm building up my speed, checking my mirrors. And on these roads you must indicate, because we're going to be crossing a white line. So if you're crossing a white line, you must indicate when you change lanes. So I'll check my mirrors, not much going on behind me. I indicate now. Now there's a bus ahead slowing people down, so I'm going to slow down a little bit and I'm going to match the speed that the silver car's doing. Quick check of my blind spot and it's safe to join. So that's how you join a dual carriageway. The motorway is very similar, and the motorway is coming up in a moment. So we're going to go and get ahead, second exit. So I'm going to come up to these lights, and this is going to be the road that we're joining soon, the motorway. Now we're going to be talking about lots of different things. I won't get to cover probably every single thing there is to say about motorways, because there's so much to cover. It's hard to do it all in one video, but I'm going to try and cover as much as I can. So these lights ahead, now you don't often get lights around motorways, it's what makes them a little bit easier in a way. So I'm going to get through these lights or not. Yep, that's fine. But you do actually get traffic lights on the motorway. This one I'm joining now, this is the M42, as you can see. There are actually temporary lights at the bottom of this road. They're called part-time signals. Now a part-time signal, as you can see there, means that they're not always on. They're not on now, so I won't talk about that just yet. But I'm going to join the motorway. So I accelerate quite hard. I want to build up to about 70 miles an hour. You can see the speed in the left corner of the window there. I'm checking around, it's safe to join, and off I go. And I choose 5th gear. I could have got 5th a little bit earlier there, but I wanted to make sure it's safe to join. So I'm going to try and hold 70 miles an hour, just around there. The speedo in the windscreen says about 66, 67. That one's a little bit different to this one, but I'm doing 70 now according to my speedo. So we're going to be going up towards Tamworth. Now, at the moment that's not signed, but it will be soon. So I'll show you things about how to navigate on motorways as well. Well, one of the most important things is, you notice I'm keeping a good distance from the car ahead. The minimum gap you want is 2 seconds. And the way you tell that is when they pass an object, like a bridge for example now, you count to 2. So when I wait till that blue car in front passes under the bridge, where the shadow of the bridge is, then I'll count to 2. So when he passes under, 1 second, 2 seconds, and that's it. Now it's hard to count seconds exactly, but that was a minimum of 2 seconds. A good way you can do that is to say the phrase, only a fool breaks the 2 second rule. So when that lorry goes under the overhead sign there, the back of the lorry, you say, only a fool breaks the 2 second rule. And I haven't passed the sign before I finish saying that, so I'm at least 2 seconds back. So looking at the overhead signs, I'm going to follow the M42. Looking at the sign on the left, there's a variable speed limit. Now I could actually overtake this lorry, but I'm not going to just yet. But if you look at the sign on the left there, you notice that the middle lane also goes left, as well as the left lane. But I'm going to stay in this lane and I'm going to keep my distance, just to demonstrate keeping distance. What I could have done there is mirror signal, go around the lorry, and also go the same way I'm going from the middle lane. When I come back the other way on the motorway, I'll be doing more things like that, slightly more advanced kind of driving, whereas now I'm doing quite a basic kind of normal way of driving. So looking at the overhead signs, this is going towards the M42. It also said M42 on the floor. Now if you look at the sign on the left, you'll see that the arrowheads all go into their own lane. See at the top, the tips of the arrows, the arrowheads, they all go into their own lane. Now in a moment there'll be a sign where that's not the case. What's going to happen is one of the arrowheads is going to go into the tail of another arrow. Now, if the arrowhead goes into a tail of another arrow, that means it's actually merging into a lane. You've got to build up speed and join the lane. If the arrowhead is going into its own space, so like the black Discovery's doing there, that's what I could have done to get around the lorry. But now there's a solid white line, I can't cross that line. It's a big no-no, don't ever cross a solid line. So you'll see the sign in a moment I'm talking about. There's quite a few signs, I can't cover them all in one go. But this sign in a moment on the left, coming up after this one, is going to say, by the way, max speed 50 is advice, you don't have to do that. I'll come back to that later on. Variable speed limit ahead. Now you see the sign on the right hand side, the arrowheads all go up, they're not hitting each other. Now in a moment, on the left I think it's going to be, this one's side the same, it's actually the same thing. The arrowheads don't hit each other, so it means I don't have to join someone else's lane, I'm actually in my own lane for the moment. So when I build up to 70 again, the overhead signs don't have any speeds on them, so I can stick to the normal speed limit of 70 miles an hour. So I'll check my mirrors, I'll signal to the right, and I'm going to join, quick check of the blind spot, and how to go. Now I'm going to make some progress by passing a lorry, but I can't at the moment because there's a Mini coming up in my middle lane. So I'll check my mirrors. Once the Mini's starting to pass me, I'm going to signal, so I'm getting a little bit closer to the lorry. I'll move out so I'm still 2 seconds behind the Mini, roughly, as I move over. It's not possible to always be 2 seconds back as a minimum, but you should at 99% of the time. So when I build up to 70 miles an hour, the Mini just did a bad overtake there. See the way it cuts in front of the lorry? It didn't even indicate. Now again, it's still 70 miles an hour, so I'm fine as I am. I can't move back till I see the lorry in my middle mirror like I can now. So mirrors, signal, over I go, and back in the left-hand lane. And I'm still about 2 seconds back from the Mini in front of me. So these speed signs above the motorway, if they're on, you must stick to what they say. If you look on the back of them, you're on the floor, you can see the speed camera lines, but on the back of them there are speed cameras. Now people often think they don't work because they say, well I never seen them flashing. They obviously don't work. They do work, but they don't flash because they're digital speed cameras, so there's no flash from them. You notice how many cameras there are all around here. There's cameras all down the road, all over the place. Now if you start crossing the white line normally, you'll be in trouble, but here, although it might not be in use at the moment, it's our car in the middle lane, the blue car is much too close to the white car, that's not even half a second behind. If that white car brakes, the blue one's got no chance. That is stupidly dangerous driving, and the black one now is joining in as well. But yeah, around Birmingham, you know, it's the hard shoulder on the left. You can actually go in that sometimes when it's open. If it's open, the signs above will be saying hard shoulder open or available to use or whatever they say. So see for example now there's a black sign above the hard shoulder on the left there. You could go down that if that sign was on. It's not on at the moment, so the hard shoulder can't be used. The hard shoulder is only for breakdowns, which I'll cover in a bit, but you can't drive down it normally under most situations. So looking on the left again, part-time signals not active, so I've got to be aware that people could be joining the motorway from the left. So I'm checking my mirrors, no one there at all, double check, triple check, no one there. A few vehicles overtaking me, and the sign above the next gantry, the gantries are like the steel structures. You see it saying, that's what I was saying about before, the arrowhead is going into the tail of the other arrow, so that means the left lane is coming into this lane. It's quite hard to explain all this on the move, but I hope you understand that. I will be doing future videos about this as well. I'll do some where I just sit still in the car talking about the theory of motorway driving, but I wanted to show you as much of the practical side as I could. And I am aware I'm not holding the full speed limit just at the moment. You don't have to always do the full speed. Now ahead they're starting to brake, so on the brake as well, keeping a good distance back. There is a lorry up front blocking this lane, so when the blue car behind me is passed, I'm going to mirror, signal, quick blind spot, over I go. Now you shouldn't check your blind spot for too long because obviously at 70 miles an hour, as I'll be doing now, you don't want to have your head turned the wrong way for too long. But but if you don't look in it, there can easily be a car there. One reason I'm using this lapel microphone is that this road is so loud, all motorways are loud, because the engine noise, the road noise, the wind noise. If you don't check your blind spot, you can easily have a car there. You won't see it in your mirrors, but if you don't check your blind spot, there's a car there. That's why it's a good idea to always signal whenever you change lanes. Make sure that you let the signals flash for a good 3 seconds before you change lanes. You don't want to make the mistake loads of drivers make, which is simply signal and move at the same time. That doesn't help anyone. Now, you need to stay as far left as you can at all times on the motorway. At the moment, it wouldn't be safe for me to move left because that vehicle, all those vehicles are going slower. Now, the one behind me is going to be close, but he's now overtaking, so that's fine. I don't have to worry about that. So I'm doing 60 miles an hour. I'm aware I need to get up to 70 whenever I can, but the motorway traffic at the moment is a little bit heavy. I'm going to consider returning to left, but why would that not be a good thing to do at the moment? We'll see on the left there, that slip road which is going up towards that exit. So when you get a slip road going off, there is nearly always one coming on. So at the moment I don't want to move left in case someone's coming down the slip road. I'll then have to move to the right again, like's happening ahead. So I'm keeping my distance, checking my mirrors regularly, and I'm going to consider moving left in a moment. However, there is a lorry ahead of me in the left lane, that cow lorry, the black and white lorry. I'm getting a little bit close to the car in front, so I'll check my mirror, ease off the gas a little. On the motorway, you often don't have to brake because when you come off the gas, you slow down so quickly because you're losing speed so fast with the wind resistance. You often don't have to brake unless, of course, there's a vehicle behind you that will need to know that. So I'm going to consider going into the far right lane. After this black car behind's passed me, I probably will, because I'm only doing 60 miles an hour at the moment, but now these vehicles are braking, I might not have to do that. Nope, I won't have to do that now. So most of the time on the motorway, if you don't break speed limits, you're either in the left lane doing the speed limit, or in the middle lane overtaking lorries. Now, for this vehicle I'm in now, the speed limit is 70 miles an hour. For that lorry, it will be 60 miles an hour, because it's over, it's big enough to be over the normal weight limit. The max speed limit is 70 miles an hour. So checking around, any of these vehicles in the left could decide to overtake the lorry, so we're keeping a good distance in case they choose to do that. Again, the overhead signs aren't on today. I have actually done another video about this, because these speed signs, the ones that are above the motorway, the ones that are in these black signs when they're lit up, if they're off, it's just like a normal speed. If they're on, you must do those. They're legally mandatory, you must do them, otherwise you risk getting points and a fine. And that's because they're in a red circle. I won't go over all that in full detail now because I've done another video about that, but if the speed limits are in a red circle, you must do them. If they're the ones at the side of the road, like the ones earlier on that said max speed 50, you don't have to do them because that's advisory, not compulsory. So I want to consider overtaking these vehicles in front, but at the moment I can't get out to the right lane. There's a good distance behind me and in front of me, so this is perfectly safe. You notice on the motorway you don't have to change gear very often, well not at all normally. I was on this road the other day filming a different video, and it was such a bad jam because it was a big crash. I ended up with a handbrake on, so it's very rare, so I can't front didn't signal. It's very rare to be on that motorway with your handbrake on, but I'm going to make some progress by overtaking this truck, little truck there. So I pick up 70, holding 70. I must wait so I can see that truck in my middle mirror unless he moves back. And now he's moved back to that left lane, so I can now check behind, signal, and over I go. The reason it's the middle mirror, not the left mirror, is if you only see them, I'm not going to go left by the way because that lorry in front of me. If you can see the object in your left mirror or right mirror, that means it could be next to you. When they're in your middle mirror, they're behind you, they're far enough behind for you to move back in. So I'm going to be going towards Coventry. Which way is that looking at the signs? Yep, you can see it's any of the lanes at the moment, all three lanes. So I'm going to consider, actually I will move back to the left. Notice I'll signal to let it flash, then move back. So at the moment this lane goes where I want to go. Now I'm deliberately going up this way because this motorway gets quite wide in the moment. If I remember it goes up to 4 or 5 lanes, but I haven't been this way for quite a few years. But I know it does get quite wide. This is where the M6 toll is, the toll road that you have to pay if you want to go on that one. So when I hold 70 miles an hour still, and I will be demonstrating cruise control in a moment. In fact, now would be a good time to do that. So I'm going to press this button on the wheel. I know you can't see this, but I'm pressing the button on the wheel. I then press up, and I can take my feet off the pedals, and the car maintains the speed itself. Now I'm doing this because I'm getting to quite a busy part of the motorway. I want to have my concentration on what's going on around me and not having to be thinking about my speed. So the car is now holding 70 miles an hour for me. It's a great feature, my favourite feature in a car, that cruise control. And I know if you're watching in America you might be saying, well, every car's got that. Not here in this country. I'm going to hold down now. I'm going to actually knock the cruise control off for a moment. Let this vehicle past. So cruise control's off. I can let them through. I'll press the cancel button there. I can then mirror, signal, overtake, press resume, and the car accelerates on its own back up to 70 miles an hour. And you've got to be careful because it accelerates so hard it's actually catching up the car in front. And notice I left the signal on there as well. That's what you don't want to do. You must take the signal off whenever you can. So I'm still heading towards the northeast. So I'm checking my mirrors again. The lorry's in my middle mirror, so I'll return to the left lane. There is another lorry ahead, but it's a little bit further, so I'm not bothered about it for now. So cruise control came off there because I took over. If you press the brake or the clutch, it will take over. And if you press this cancel button as well, that will knock cruise control off. Now this video is not all about cruise control, I will be doing a separate one about that, so I'm not going to talk about it a lot here, but I'm going to re-engage cruise control now and let the car do the work. So the road's getting complicated. I'm going to go towards the northwest and northeast, so I can see I need to change lanes. So I'll mirror, signal, and over I go. See it's saying northwest, northeast, these two lanes, and I'm now controlling the speed again with my fingers. I'm going to tap it up to hold the speed at this speed. Notice the two red circles on the left there saying 60. So if I go that way, that is a compulsory mandatory speed limit of 60, but I'm not going that way, so I can do 70. So I hold the button on the car steering wheel and it picks up 70. It's lovely being able to accelerate with your fingers, and you can also slow down with them. So I hold the down button now, slow down because that car's pulled in front of me close, let go, and I'll keep the speed the same. I can return to the left lane, yep, so over I go, and then I again hold the up button and the car speeds up to 70. So I will be doing a video about cruise control in the future, but if you wonder why I'm not pressing my feet, by the way, it's at max speed 45. You don't have to do it, that's advised, because it's not in a red circle, so you only have to do what's in red circles. I will be doing a separate video about cruise control, but you know, I've got a lot to say at the moment, so I won't be talking just about that. Look at the arrows there. You see the two bottom arrows where the arrowheads go into the tail of the other arrow? That's what I was saying before. So the left lane that I'm currently in will go into its own lane. The two lanes on the right of me will go into, they're merging into the other lane, so they've got to join the road. I don't, I'm just in my own lane. Now in a moment I know that I will need to go over there because that's the way I'm going. But so this is quite a wide motorway, and I know again if you're in America you might laugh and say that's nothing. This is like a normal road in America. This is a I think this is the widest motorway in the country, certainly that I've ever seen. It's a massive road. So I'm not going to change lanes now, I don't need to. But yeah, this is what, 5 lanes now. So I'm going to continue in this lane for now, and I've still got cruise control on, so I'm not pressing the pedals. So I'm checking my mirrors. I can't move over at the moment, I don't need to just yet, because again this lane doesn't filter into that one, it just goes into its own lane. So I could move if I had to, I don't need to. There's a car behind me getting closer, so I couldn't move now. Now looking ahead, we're going to be following the signs for Tamworth, and I am being careful because in all these overhead signs you must do what the signs say if it's in a red circle. If it's flashing orange like on these signs you don't have to, because that's advice. But I'm going to do the M42, so I'll check my mirrors. There's a van coming up, so I'm going to signal about now, back over, reactivate cruise control, knock the signal off. Now I want the M42, now that one does go to the M42 as well, but I want this one because there's a slip road coming up in a moment in the left hand lane. So I'm going to consider moving right if I need to move out of the way for these vehicles so they could move over if necessary. I couldn't move right because nothing's behind me, so I'm ready to move over, my finger's ready to signal, but I probably won't need to just yet. That lorry might need to move, probably not, so that car's flying, that Audi there's flying at the road. No, I'm okay with that. Instead of that Audi's driving like an idiot, look at that, you swerve from the left straight over to lane 3. Don't ever do that, that's stupid, that's asking for a crash. You never just swerve. Tamworth now, you see the 2 lanes here, so I'm going to try and get to the furthest lane on the left, but I'm making sure that lorry's not going to move. I don't think they will, so I'll indicate and go over. Don't ever do that in that car. So that car again, that's the one they did before. They've just cut over the line, no warning for me at all. That just caused me to brake really hard. They gave no warning whatsoever they were going to change lanes. That again is asking for a crash. You must indicate for at least three flashes of the signal before you cross a line. The line's broken, so yes, you can cross it, but you must give people warning. Anyway, don't ever just what you call a swoop. You go from the left straight to the right swoop. Normally smash into everyone and cause a massive pile-up. So M42, as you can see from the overhead signs, this line is the one furthest left for the M42, so that's the one I want. So I'm staying as far left as I can at all times. This is also how you do things like spiral roundabouts, gyratory roundabouts. You seem to keep as far left as you can. And you see the skid marks on the floor there where somebody braked really hard. So heading towards Tamworth, this line and that line are both good. Okay, I've got no reason to be in the right lane. The car behind me's come back in, now he's going to the other lane, I think. No, he's staying behind me. So even though I've got cruise control on, ready to brake, note that car's going the way again, not signalling. If only people signalled, you know where they're going to go. These people often give you a weird look thinking what you're doing, and if they don't signal, well, I don't know what they're doing, so I have to drive differently because of them. So is this still a motorway? Yep, no, there are only 2 lanes, but it's still a motorway. This is why I've come this way deliberately, because I started off on, 3 lanes, then it went to 4, 5, now 2. So lots of variety by coming this way. So I want to turn cruise control off, press the off button, I'll go back to standard driving, because I know you might be wanting to see what it's like without cruise control. So I'm checking my mirrors. There's quite a few cars behind, although no one on the slip road. I couldn't move right if I had to, so if someone was on a slip road, who has right of way if they're trying to join and I can't move? Which one of us do you think has right of way? Yep, and that car again is coming right in front of us, way too close, causing me to brake, causing the white car behind to go around me. Bad driving from that Skoda driver in front. You must be able to see the car you passed in the middle mirror as he's doing again. He's moved and signalled at the same time, just what I was saying before. He does need to go around that car, but you can't just swerve over. You check your mirrors, you indicate, then you go like that. That's how you do it. So when I pass the red car, get wait till this is my middle mirror, then I'll return to the left-hand lane. I'm still doing 70 miles an hour. I'm aware the car behind is coming up fast, so I need to move back whenever I can. You can't block people even if they're speeding. So I wait till the red car's in my middle mirror, he's in my left mirror, now he's in my middle. Signal, over I go. So that was smooth, gentle, controlled. Should all be smooth, gentle and controlled. Anyway, I was saying about, what was I saying about now before that? I can't remember now. I was saying something about that car swerving all over the road. About the slip road. So who has right of way if a car's joining on a slip road and they can't come out? Well, it's me, I have right of way because I'm on the main road. If you're joining on a slip road and you can't join, you must slow down, if necessary, even stop. Now I know you all say, no, you can't stop on a slip road. If you plan well ahead, you shouldn't have to, but that's why you have to do by the book. If you can't join, you do stop on a slip road. I know that sounds bizarre, I've never had to do that ever in my life. Actually, once I did years ago. I went to Western-super-Mare, and when I was coming home, there was a traffic jam. There'd been a tanker in Birmingham. I think this was the year 1999, I think it was. There was a fuel tanker had crashed just around here, actually, on this junction. And there was a 120-mile traffic jam on the motorway. Yeah, that was a bit unbearable. I was doing clutch control all the way up the motorway. I never got over about 10 miles an hour. It took me hours to get home. I think it took me about 5 or 6 hours to do what's normally a 2-hour journey. Anyway, that's a story for another time maybe. So the sign's turned off on the left there, there's no instructions. Sometimes they say things like, traffic jam ahead to give you a good warning. Now I was talking earlier on about crossing these white lines. If you cross the white line, don't be too surprised if you get a police car come after you. That's a solid white line. I'll be doing more joining the road in a moment. I'm going to come off the motorway now and then rejoin the motorway. If you cross these solid lines, you will get police come after you. Don't be too surprised if that happens. The whole of the motorway network is covered with cameras. And how do I know that? Well, because I've actually been in the motorway control room, I've been in the police control room, and I've seen all the cameras, and it's incredible. The coverage they've got, that car break down there, you can break down, of course, and pull over there, and they've done that really well, because they've got as far left as they could. But you can't go on that hard shoulder unless you've got good reason. Good reason, you're going to come off for the moto services in 2 miles. Now, I'll talk more about that in a moment, but good reason is a good reason if your car's broke down, if someone's got a medical emergency in your vehicle, that's a good reason to pull up on a hard shoulder. Not because you need the toilet, that's not a good enough reason. And I know you can say, well, you know, I need the toilet. That's not a good enough reason. Not because you want to phone someone, not because your sat nav's not working. It must be an emergency, you know. And I know needing the toilet could be an emergency, but yeah, it's better to, I suppose, you wait yourself in the car than wait yourself when you see the police coming after you. But yeah, anyway, next junction we're on exit 10. Now see, it says 1 mile. Now because I'm doing roughly 60 miles an hour, 1 mile will take about 1 minute, because it's 1 mile, 60 miles in an hour, 60 minutes in an hour, so it's roughly 1 mile per minute, very roughly. So if you see a sign like that, it says 2M1 via A42, 23 miles, 20 minutes. That's just what I was saying. The number of miles is about the same as the number of minutes. So if you're doing 50, if you've got 50 miles to your destination, that'll be about 50 minutes, a bit less, because you're doing 70 miles an hour probably, but that's how you work that out. So I'm going to come off this road now, half a mile. So the way you exit the motorway, check your mirrors regularly, good mirror checks through central motorways, and I'm going to be coming off towards the Tamworth services. I'm going to indicate roughly when I pass the number 3 marker, and I know, I'm aware I could be overtaking the car in front. When you're doing these videos, please understand I've got a lot going on. This is much harder than driving on my own. If I was just driving without filming a video, I probably would go around, but I've got so much going on. I'm going to indicate now when I pass the number 3 marker. It gives everyone good warning of where I'm going to go. So I'm going to exit this road now, and I'm going to do U-turn back down the other side of the motorway. So I'm checking around. I exit keeping my speed high, and I know I'm going to want the right hand lane because I'm doing a U-turn. It might not always apply that, but it will now. Now this kind of roundabout, you don't always have to indicate, simply because it's so big. You are going round, but how many lanes are on the left side of those signs. You don't strictly have to always indicate, because I'm just following the lane. I'm not actually going right on the roundabout as such, I'm following the lane. So I'm braking, clutch down, rolling up. Again, try not to stop dead. I'll come into first gear, I'll probably have to stop. Yeah, and I'll stop dead there. But yeah, the reason you don't have to always indicate is because it's obvious I'm going right, I'm in the right hand lane at the moment. There's nowhere else I could go, apart from a U-turn, which I'll go over when we get there. So you don't always have to indicate this kind of roundabout. It's really difficult to explain this on the move. Again, I will be doing some theory lessons about this. If you're not sure, just indicate. You can, doesn't hurt if you do. Checking for anyone jumping the lights. No. Now I am going to indicate now because I'm going to the far right. I'm actually going back round. So I'm signalling right now. You don't have to be, but I thought there was a need there because our car in front was moving around. So I'm going to stop here. I can see the lights the other way, they're just about going red. Yep, so that means I was going to green. So off we go. So round about. I don't know which exit number it is, but I know where I'm going, so that's okay. Checking the mirrors in case the lights change. No, I'm going to do something now you don't normally do and move to the right. You normally don't move right and roundabouts like that, because that normally means you're going the wrong way and you're going back where you came from. But I do want to go back the way I came from. So again, braking, clutch down into 1, trying to roll through. It doesn't always work. Let's see if it does. Yep, off we go. So I didn't stop dead, and that saves you a bit of fuel, saves you a bit of time. So it's at M42 southwest. So I need to actually start moving to the left now. So I'm checking the mirror signalling, coming over and stopping on these lights. So I could have actually, this car's going to go straight through a red light. That's just what I was saying, that Audi's probably going to got 3 points now for doing that. Is it worth it for saving what, a minute? It's just gone straight through a red light. There are cameras all over the place, including the ones in my car. So yeah, now this roundabout probably didn't need to move right back there, but bear in mind I haven't been around here for about, I don't know, 10 years or so. I haven't got the wrong lane. I'm just going to change lanes in a moment, so I'm checking my mirrors. I'm going to check the blind spot signal left and over I go. So not really the wrong lane, I could have been in this lane, I could actually get far left lane. If you don't know the roads, it's always of course harder to do it. So if I knew that road better, I could have done those lanes better, but nothing wrong with what I did. And I'm going to indicate left now to show I'm coming off on the roundabout. Now again, I will be covering these roundabouts in another video, because lots of people keep asking me, can I do, gyratory roundabouts? That's what this is. So I'm coming over to the far left now, already in the far left, sorry, and off I go. Well, signal stays on, I'm going to accelerate quite hard. Not too hard so I don't block these cars in the right lane. Now that one's gone, I can start to accelerate a little bit harder. Because that Jeep in the right lane, there's no need for him to be there. As I say that, he comes back over. You only go in the right lane if you're going to overtake someone. There was no one for him to overtake after me, so he shouldn't be in that lane. So again, joining the motorway, mirror, blind spot signal. Can I hold back a little bit because I have a red car? But he's now out of the way. Final checks, off I go. You may notice there when I did, as well as checking my blind spot by turning my head, actually lean forward like that, that opens up your blind spot. And the advantage of doing that is you can still see what's going on ahead of you, as well as what's going on in your blind spot. You don't want to be turning your head too much at this kind of speed. Okay, so we also need to go over about breakdowns. I mentioned that car before, the red car, they're done it really well. I'm just going to turn the aircon on there because it's getting quite warm today. It's just coming up to summer now and it's getting really, really warm. So if you break down in the motorway, what do you do? Well, first of all, you want to try and get to the hard shoulder, which is that lane on the left there. Pull up as far to the left as you can, so your wheels are actually kind of on the grass if need be. And don't ever open this door. Get out that side of the car, the passenger side. I know if you're watching this abroad, again, this might be backwards, but you always get out the left side of your car, the near side of your car, on the passenger side. A big cause of deaths on the motorway is when people pull over, open this door, and the door gets taken off, and because you're holding the door like that, your arm will get ripped out, you get ripped out of the car, the belt stops you from getting ripped out, you can actually be ripped in two. It has been known where people have been ripped in two, and the body's been split into two pieces because they're holding the door, someone's hit them, bang. It's horrible. Can you imagine what it's like for the police and the ambulance service having to turn up to that? You know, the body's been torn apart. I know it can sound funny, but you wouldn't want that happening, so get out outside the car. You notice these markers like that one there, they've all got a number on. Now if you read that number to the people at your phone, if you go and pick up a phone like this one coming up on the left there, they're situated quite frequently down the motorway. If you pick that up, they'll know where you are because they've all got location devices in them. They know exactly which phone you're using. But if you don't, you read these markers, you say I'm buying marker. I can't read what they are because they're too small. But that one, let's see, it's saying 48 on top with a 5 on the bottom. They've got a number on top and a number underneath. So it's I'm buying location marker 48 with a 5 underneath. They know exactly where you are, and they're very frequent. One there, one there, one there. There's so many of them. I know a police officer said once that when you've been a police officer for years, you actually get to know what the numbers are because you're so used to going into accidents by them. So yeah, you get out outside the car, try and walk up the embankment, get away from the road. I know it sounds obvious, but don't ever cross the motorway, don't walk over the motorway. Try not to even walk down the hard shoulder. If you got to, you got to. But don't sit in your car either. You might be thinking, blimey, what can I do? Don't sit in your car. You are a sitting target sitting in a car. The exception is if, and I know it can sound a bit sexist, but if you're a woman, the advice is to stay sitting in your car sometimes because you can be more vulnerable. Yes, there are people who cruise up and down the motorway preying on women that break down in the car, which is not a very nice thought. I know people prey on men as well. They prey on anyone, but you don't want to, if you lock yourself in the car and someone comes up offering you help, it might be a bit suspicious unless it's a breakdown service. Do you have to be in a breakdown service to be covered? Well, no, they will come out and help you, but it will cost you a lot more. And that van again is going to cut me up. It will cost you a lot more than you would if you remember. So I thoroughly recommend always join a breakdown service. It's quite cheap. It's only about £60 to £100 a year. Make sure you get decent cover. Don't just go for the basic cover where they only come out, look at the car, tell you what's wrong, and that's about it. There are different levels of cover. Make sure you get the level where they'll actually cover motorways and they'll cover you at home. It's well worth the money. If you break down on the motorway, you don't mind paying £100. If you get a brand new car like this, you're covered for free, which is quite nice. I suppose you pay for it with the cost of the car. But anyway, there's the Belfry Golf Centre if you're watching from around the world. That's where the Ryder Cup is often held. World famous golf course there. I've actually been there quite a few times. It's a lovely place. There's a big nightclub there called the Bel Air, if I remember. Anyway, let's keep it on the topic. So if you break down, pull up as far left as you can, get out the left side of your car, of course if you've got kids in the car, whatever, get them out as well. There is a lot more I could say about that. Maybe it's worth doing a video all about breakdowns on the motorway. But I can't say it all while I'm driving because I've got to concentrate on what I'm doing. But they're the main points. Call your breakdown service. If you've got no one to call, you can always call a breakdown service. Always have a breakdown service on your phone. Most sat-navs have them programmed in now, the numbers, so it's quite easy to know where you are now. You can even, I think if I'm correct in saying this, the people in the control room at the emergency services can tell where you are just from your mobile phone signal. Not that accurately, but they can triangulate where you are. If any police are watching or whatever, let me know about that. But they can locate where you are. Sometimes people write down and they say, I'm on the motorway. Where? England. Where? Well, I don't know, I'm going to the coast somewhere. It's not very helpful. Always be aware of the road you're on. So at the moment I'm on the M42 southwest southbound. Again, it will start out on the sat nav. There's a feature where you can it says something like help me or something, or emergency breakdown, whatever, and it tells you where you are, gives you the coordinates. You can even give the breakdown people your coordinates, sat nav coordinates, and that's very accurate. That's accurate within about a metre or two. Anyway, I'm going to head towards the airport. So which lines go to the airport? Have a look at the overhead signs. Which do you reckon? Yep, this one and that one both go to the one with the plane on. It doesn't actually say airport, but of course the picture of the plane is the airport. So I'm going to keep my speed quite high. I'm going to consider passing this car in front. Yep, I shall, because they're going. So they're going a little bit slower. Now he's swerving all over the road now, so it's a good thing I'm going around him. So he's not doing much wrong, he's going a little bit slower than he could. I'm only doing 70 now at my speed though. Checking my mirrors, signalling, coming back. You notice I'll check my left blind spot because I'm on such a wide road. That's what you call the pincer movement. If you can't hear that because the road's bumpy, the pincer movement, like a crab with the pincers. Imagine if you're in the far right lane, someone's in the far left lane, and you move left as they move right, you don't see each other, and bang, you smash in the middle lane, and you have a massive crash. So yeah, that's the pincer movement. Like now, I'm going to join the road, mirrors, signalling, not like the car in front again, swooping, bad idea to swoop. Join the road, and off I go. I could have maybe stayed in that lane. I'm just seeing if that lane is actually open still. No, this is correct. So there's a caravan. I'm going to check my mirrors, consider a signal, definitely a signal after this car's passed. The one behind, I'll wait for them now because they've started to pass. I'll indicate now, move out. I should consider the fact that Jeep might want to come over, so I'll let him go if he wants to come out, but he doesn't, so I'll put my foot down and off I go. This is where being in a turbocharged car like this is quite nice, it pulls away quickly. But you might laugh at that, you might say it's only a Fiesta, yeah, but it's turbocharged. So that means that, quite simply, again, this is another topic still, I'm not going to move, actually I will move left now because I think they're okay ahead. A turbo means the faster you go, the more power you get, simply. I know that's not exactly correct, any mechanics watching say that's not correct, but quite simply, when you go faster, it's a bit like having a recycler on the engine. As the engine is pushing the exhaust fumes out again, I know this isn't exactly correct, but as he's pushing the fumes out, he kind of spins the fan as you were and generates more power, which gets put back in the engine, and that's how a turbo works. Probably the worst example of a turbo ever. But bear in mind, I'm driving on the motorway trying to explain this at the same time as trying to keep myself alive. But yeah, if there are any mechanics who want to describe that better in the description below, please do so. So checking ahead, the two lanes on the left are going to join, so I'm checking around, not much going on around me, there's one car left, so I'll speed up a little bit so they can drop in behind me. That's good. So by me speeding up, that they could just drop back and fall in behind. There's another one on the left, another left lane, there's no one there. So off I go. Yeah, so there you go, that's someone look on the left that broke down, great example, thanks for doing that, friend. That person that broke down, he's using his phone, he's pulled it by the emergency phone. Looks like something's come out of his engine there. Now I wouldn't recommend changing a tyre on the motorway. I will be doing a video in the future about how to change a tyre. I think that's going to be very valuable to know, because you don't want to be waiting at the side of the road for an hour for a mechanic to come and change your tyre. I mention mechanics quite often, haven't I, on this video. So it's 17 minutes to welcome break, so about 17 minutes-ish before I get there. Don't change a tyre on the motorway, it's dangerous. You want to have the van with the flashing lights, the proper jack, you want to have the proper kit. If you jack up a tyre at the side of the motorway, the wind from these cars passing can easily blow the car over on the jack. I've seen that happen, it's horrible. The car just shakes and it falls off, and you've got loads more problems than the flat tyre because you're stuck under your car. You might have your limbs amputated, and sorry I'm sort of saying all these horrible things, but the reality is that driving is a dangerous thing to do. Like the one in front, what's that car in front doing wrong? So he's right in the back of the other car. Sorry if I didn't give you much time to answer there, but he's right in the back of that car now, you shouldn't be that close. So following again to the airport, but actually the airport's the next junction. The overhead sign again, it's our left lane comes into this one, because yet again the arrowhead is coming into the tail for the other arrow. So yeah, and I'm going to consider moving lanes in a bit. So these speed camera things on the floor, there are speed cameras on most of these overhead signs. And if you go flying down the motorway, you might think it's funny to be doing 90, 100 or whatever, but you won't think it's so funny when in a few weeks' time, a week or two, you get a letter through the post saying you've got 3 points, then another 3 points, and another 3 points. Just imagine now if I went through this one speeding, so the speed camera sign, I'm doing 100 miles an hour now, imagine, I go through, I've got 3 points and a fine. I go through the next one here, and guess what? I've got another 3 points, another fine. Now I know it doesn't always work like that, it depends on how far apart you are. Sometimes they don't just give it loads of fines, it can be one. But, you know, look how often you could be caught another one. I'll be getting another 3 points now, I've got 9 points in the last 1 minute. It's not worth it, you've worked hard. I was going to change lanes actually, so I know. You've worked hard to get your driving licence, don't go and lose it. I think this lane, that lane side does go the same way as well. Yeah, but I wanted to move to make sure I didn't want to get stuck. So I'll speed up a little bit, maybe get around that car, maybe not. Let's see, is he going slow enough for me to pass? Just about, should be able to pass them. So nothing wrong with that, I didn't have to move, but again, please bear in mind, it's not easy making these videos. If I was driving on my own, I wouldn't make mistakes like that, but it's very hard when you're filming and talking and you're trying to think what people are going to say when they respond to you, and people are going to say, oh, you should have said this, you should have done this. It's much, much harder driving when you're filming yourself. Loads of traffic on the left, so actually it worked out well I was in this lane, because I need to let those go. That's of course why I did it, it wasn't really a mistake, was it? That's why I did it. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to keep it in mid lane just for now. Now these cars are going quite fast. The black one there, the front of the black BMW is not going too quick. This black one here is. So I might just get around them. I might consider coming back in behind them, but that BMW there is slowing them down. So that car's kind of blocking a bit. And I should go around that one, around the red one. And you see the sign ahead there as well, saying before, it's saying hard shoulder for emergency use only, not for use all the time. So I just want to think, did I actually go in the far right lane at all? I think I did earlier on. I can't remember if I've been in the far right lane or not. When you're on the motorway, that's the thing. To start with, it can seem like really fast and exciting, but after about 10 minutes or so, you kind of get used to the speed. I'm trying to get back left if I can. I don't need to just yet. When you get used to the speed, it can become quite boring. Although this might sound stupid, it's actually very easy to fall asleep on the motorway. I knew someone once years ago called Tony, and his brother woke up on the motorway bouncing down the central reservation off that barrier, the Armco barrier. He woke up and his car was bouncing off him. That soon woke him up. But it's very easy to fall asleep if you get tired. So take a break at most every 2 hours. At least every 2 hours. Don't just drive for ages and ages. Another problem with that, and I still can't get left just yet because there's too many cars there. Another problem with, I'm going to use cruise control now so I can talk a bit better. The problem with falling asleep on the motorway, when you get left on a hard shoulder there, the white line is actually what you call a rumble strip. It rumbles when you go over it. So when you go into the hard shoulder, I can't really show you this, I might in a moment, but I'm not really supposed to do it. That car's going to come in front. Now that car in front, they just wanted to overtake me for no reason. Just because I didn't let them out earlier, because I didn't have to, they got kind of angry and overtook me. There's no need to do that. I'm doing the speed limit, so I'm okay. But yeah, sorry, I keep getting distracted. If you go on the hard shoulder, you'll hear rumbles. When you put a tyre on the white line, it goes rub, 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 rub. It's like a really loud sound. And people often will say to me on motorway lessons, why does it do that? The answer is, and I say, to wake people up. And people laugh and say, oh yeah, you're funny, you are. What do you mean? What's the real reason? I say, no, it's to wake people up. It is supposed to wake you up if you fell asleep. That's what it's for. It's there to warn you you're going off the road. Now, some cars now have lane departure warning systems, so the car can tell if you're going over a white line. It beeps to warn you of that. Back on cruise control. But this car doesn't have that. I don't think it's something you really need. I mean, it might be quite handy, but you don't really need to have that, as long as you stay awake. I'd rather use my own senses than the cars. I know I'm using cruise control, a bit of a contradiction there, but cruise control is great. It means that it's easier for you to drive. But things that tell you you're going off the road, I'd like to think I could notice if I was going off the road. You also get blind spot indication systems where they beep when the car's in the blind spot. But again, I don't really think you need that too much. So I'm going to consider getting back in the left lane, but I can't because again the arrow is saying the left lane's going to end. it says on the left there, refuge areas for emergency use only, which means simply don't go on the hard shoulder. And also, so the emergency refuge areas are these areas here on the left. There's one. That's where police can wait. They can reverse up there and wait, to help people or whatever like that. No stopping except in emergency. The sign said there. So, what's that car in the middle lane doing? Wrong. Sorry, what's he doing wrong? Yep, so he's right behind that white car, getting too close. So I'm going to hold down on the button so my cruise control comes down a bit. I don't need to brake, no one's behind me for a long way. I'll release the button and the car cruises at that speed. So yeah, if you want to see the cruise control video, let me know. I will be doing that quite soon. It's a really great system. I'm going to have a camera on the window trained on the button so you can see what I'm doing. And you'll be able to see exactly what I'm doing with the buttons, going up and down on the buttons. So I'll speed up now, hold the up button, and it speeds up to 70. The main reason for that, it saves fatigue, it saves you getting tired, and it's amazing the difference it makes. I wanted cruise control for years and years, and I'm back to manual driving now. I didn't have it for years. I got it and I've used it for the first 4 or 5 years after wanting it for all that time. And I went down to Cornwall from Birmingham, which is about 250 miles or something like that. And when I got out the other end, I didn't even know I'd been driving. I was so relaxed. My feet weren't aching like they normally would be. My legs weren't aching. I didn't have a backache and neck ache because it takes a lot of stress out of driving to get engaged cruise control. Sit back, relax, enjoy the ride until someone cuts you up like that. How many people have cut me up today? I keep trying to show this cruise control and these inconsiderate drivers keep cutting me up. Anyway, yeah, so that's almost the end of the video, so I hope that's helped you out. I'll keep going for a little bit because there might be some other things I could say now, but that's mainly what I wanted to do. The things about variable speed I will be showing in a different video, because today there was only that one sign back there when I was going the other way where it said 50 or 60, whatever it was, I can't remember now. It's got a convertible car look on the motorway, it's quite windy in that car. Yeah, so variable speeds with the signs that come on these overhead signs, you have to do them if they're in a red circle. If they're not in a red circle, they're only advice. There was actually a thing around here not long ago, about a year ago now, where the police fined loads of people with these speed cameras, and everyone got the decision overturned because they said you've got the wrong font on the sign. They actually had the wrong font. It must be the exact correct font and colour for it to be legal. And the police weren't too happy about that because I lost all the fines, I think. Anyway, yeah, I'm not knocking the police. The police do a great job. I think it was more, I don't know, someone was moaning about, they should still be fined or whatever. But yeah, so I think I'll end the video. I'm just going to go back towards one final thing. Which way will I go now? I want southwest M5. Which lane do I need? Yep, the middle lane. So wherever I go, check in there for, that's what I was saying before. That was good, that was the pincer movement. Did you see that? That worked out really well. That white car was coming in as I was coming out. Nothing wrong, neither of us did it wrong, but that was the pincer movement. I'm really glad I got that on video. I'll show you that on the rear camera maybe. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you'll see more videos like this in the future. If you like the video, please remember to like it, and have a look at all my other videos. I hope they help you out, and I hope this video has made a contribution to you driving safely on the road. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.